I'm here with Mr. Stephen Howson. Manchester United have drawn 1-1 with West Ham and moved into third place. That is an oxymoron in itself. The disappointment of obviously the game and the result, but is there any pleasure in going third like this?
No, and to be honest, it's mad that we have, because it don't feel like we've moved into third. Shit, man. Moving into third with one game to go, we should be fucking climbing the walls, mate. We should be like, yeah, do you know what, let's just fuck everything and get on the smash tonight. But I don't feel like doing that. You don't feel like doing that. None of us feel like doing that, and everyone's kind of gone. And ultimately, it makes no difference, because we still needed to not lose to Leicester. And that's all we have to fucking do now. So technically, nothing's fucking changed, but it's disappointing because we've limped into the final game of the season. United aren't a team that limps into the last game of the season. United is a team that charges into the last game of the season, whips it out and goes, we're fucking here, who's on it? And that's just not the way it's going. I don't know if this is the fitness catching up with everyone. I don't know if this is maybe we went too hard pre, post or during lockdown. I don't know if this is just the accumulation of everything that's fucking happened in the last year for Manchester United, and it's just hit us, you know, whether it's we played the same team too much in the last couple of weeks. Ultimately, like, that 11's got to be good enough to beat West Ham, because West Ham are fucking bang average, mate. And the last 20 minutes, that didn't look the case, so I can only assume it's got to be fitness related. Because first half, right, we had them, pinned them back, they dropped into that low block, we were probing, probably an extra ball too much. Even Mason's wonderful goal was probably 2 passes too many than it needed to be. We was reluctant to pull the trigger. Ollie's own, famous line, you've got to fucking shoot. We wasn't. We was passing it around, knocking it around, almost a little bit too nice with it. It was always going to be hard against West Ham, because and on one hand easier, on the other hand harder, because they was always going to drop into that low block. They're not the kind of team that's going to press us, which you've seen Chelsea do well with, Southampton do well with, a couple of teams harass us a little bit with that. West Ham was never doing that under David Moyes. But in the last 20 minutes of that game, if you'd have just switched it on and didn't know who was playing, you'd have thought one team was about to go into third and the other team was just maybe scraping relegation. You wouldn't have said it was the way round it was, because they did look better than us at the end of that game. And ultimately, this end of the season, mate, it's about picking points up. And all right, we picked up the points and we moved into third, but fucking hell, it don't feel like it, does it? Don't feel like we took third place tonight. And if Chelsea lose, I mean, by the time this comes out, you might already know the result of the game. If Chelsea lose tonight, that's our spot. Yeah. So, like,
I'll at least until Sunday.
Yeah, and obviously the Premier League are going to be wanking themselves into a frenzy, because they got the bottom 3 not decided and the top 3 not decided, or top 4 not decided. So they're buzzing. It's the perfect end of the season as far as they're concerned.
I want to ask you something. Do you think this team fails to handle pressure?
No.
Because we've seen it, obviously. You kind of felt that we went on a long run where we were winning games. As soon as it comes on, all right, this is for third, this is for fourth, here's an FA Cup semi-final. We've not really performed. Maybe.
I don't think it's a simple yes or no, because we've seen us in big games turn the pressure, when the pressure's been on, turn up and deliver. But yes, there has been fucking countless opportunities to steamroll ourselves into the top 4, top 3, and we've not taken that opportunity. Yet tonight, on the back of a shit performance, we did do that. How far ahead of us was Leicester when we?
I think it was 10 points.
Right, at one point, yeah.
11 points.
Right, and now they're behind us. So we've obviously done something right. At some point in the season, Frank Lampard was getting knighted, and Chelsea was getting piped off to death.
Still are.
Okay, still are. Currently behind us as we record. Might change in the next hour, but do you know what I mean? Like, at no point has this team ever been given credit, and we've lost Tony Marshall, who's on for 25 goals this season. We've lost Marcus Rashford, who's on for 25 goals this season. Mason Greenwood only really started playing after Christmas. We only got our top signing Bruno after Christmas. Pogbas only put on like a run of games last month, and we're still in the mix. There's a lot of things to be positive going into next season. It just doesn't feel like it, because right now it fucking sucks. Right now it fucking hurts, and right now you're looking at a team that's not in form. Arguably, the form we're in right now, we don't deserve to be in the top 4, but then neither do Leicester, because Leicester's form's minging as well. And Chelsea have been patchy again all season. It just shows the standard of this league's wank at the moment.
It is. You mentioned Pogba there. I can't believe I didn't speak to Ronnie about this as well. It feels like so much happened in a game. Almost forgot it. their goal ultimately came from a penalty, and that's maybe, you could say, 4 points Pogbas cost us in our last 2 home games, Southampton and this one. What did you make of that? Was it just one of those things, a natural reaction that you never thought about? He's obviously getting bollocked on Twitter right now, but what did you make of that?
Yeah, I wouldn't even look at Twitter for about 6 months if I was him. Graham Souness ran to the stadium, I'm sure, on the back of that, just carried by adrenaline and fucking hate. But he won't be on his own. Roy Keane's probably had something to fucking say about it. I bet Evra's had something to say about that as well. He was obviously, we didn't have the sound on in the studio, but so we don't know. But I would think that they've all had something to say on that, and it's right, because that's the sort of shit that he's got to be doing better. He can't. That, like you said, mate, it's schoolboy shit. That
it is, and it's like, but it's one of them where, like, I'm not defending him. You don't do that. You let it hit your face, and even then, before he ducked, it was going to hit his chest. So he's ducked into it and then had to bring his hands up to cover his face. It was a really odd one. It's like, you either don't know where you are on the pitch, you don't know what you're doing in that. Like, I didn't get it.
Yeah, and that's the nightmare, is because he fucking hits the deck, because he goes down, because he's not standing up to it, he gets accused of all sorts, and they're right. If he's fucking 6'3", 6'4", he's massive. If he stands up, it probably hits him in the fucking chest. But going down like that, that's, you know, people accuse footballers of diving, being soft, this, that and the other. That doesn't help that image.
So let's talk about the Ascent. So we've seen many individual errors, not just Pogba. Pogba was today. We saw Brandon against Chelsea, Lindelof, Maguire, De Gea.
Team today, even just today. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can go for the last month if you want. There's been some bad individual errors, but you go through today. Right, De Gea never really had a lot to do. Penalty. It is what it is. He got half a chance of saving it and he didn't. Okay, cool. Can't really blame him.
Not saved in about 20 penalties.
Timbo was all right. Not great. Not terrible.
Should have had his run in the first.
Brandon, a bit flat. I think he relies on energy and tempo a lot of the times. He didn't have it. The rest of the team didn't have it. Lindelof, Maguire today, again, not a massive foot wrong from either of them, but certainly not man of the match. Amazing. Matic, don't know.
Backwards since his sign.
Just weird, yeah, weird with him. Pogba looked fantastic on the ball. Stupid errors like that, which cost him like the same way it did against Southampton. Rashford was well off the pace today. Don't know what the crack is with that.
Ben Johnson had a good game.
Okay, yeah, he did. This is the problem with the low block. The likes of Marcus, the likes of Mason, the likes of Tony Marshall, they've got to get more active. I think we had 5 shots on target. Okay, with 5 shots on target, you were probably expected to score 1 goal. We scored 1 goal. It needs to be 10 shots on target, 7, 8 shots on target. You start getting 7, 8 shots on target, you start scoring 2 goals. 5 shots isn't enough. And we had the territory.
We passed way too much.
Yeah, we basically, they drew a line 10 yards in front of their box and said, you're not getting in that. And we went, all right, we'll just pass it around here then. Instead, there was just a massive lack of penetration. There was a massive lack of individual responsibility for someone to go, give me this fucking game, watch this. And the sadness is, we've got 4 or 5 players on the team that can actually do that. Do you like a few years ago, we'd be like, we've got no one who can take the grain bar of Scuff Net. We've got loads now, and they just didn't. Frustrating.
It is indeed. Any positives to say today? Mason's goal?
Mason's goal was fantastic, even though I think him and Tony took the piss a little bit with how many touches they wanted. Positives are we are 3rd currently while we're recording this. It might change in, like I said, 20 minutes. That might be well out of date. But currently we're 3rd. Top 4 is in our hands. We don't lose to Leicester and we finish in the top 4. But honestly, anything could happen. Literally, win, lose or draw is on the cards against Leicester on Sunday. And it is 5 days away. We've got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday off. Let's hope it's enough to G the lads up, to get them in the mix. We rested players for this.
We should have went full speed ahead for that FA Cup.
We should have. And maybe Ollie knew. Maybe that was the reason. He was like, these lot are dead. He's watching them in training. He's gone, do you know what? I need to fucking rotate this. And maybe he went, ultimately, for where the club's going, as much as I'd love a trophy, because I'm sure as a player, he's lifted that trophy as a player. I'm sure he was like, I want to win everything. But sometimes you only piss with the cock you got, and if you don't think the lads are fucking up to it, you have to pick your battles.
And the FA Cup didn't save Van Gaal ultimately.
Ultimately, totally didn't, yeah. So you're like, I need that top 4. That's definitely something that they spoke about as a metric for him to be judged against. So he's gone, okay, I'll put a team out that I think can do a job. It didn't ultimately. And he's put a team out that he thought could do a job tonight. And let's be honest, it should have done a job. What was it, Wan-Bissaka and arguably Shaw off our strongest 11? Why didn't that do the job? The manager's picking that team. You can't say it was tactics. Tactics was fine. You got to look at the individual players there, sort it out. Now you can arguably say, well, the players are tight because of the manager. He didn't rotate them enough. Okay, that's fair criticism. But the players out on the pitch tonight should have been enough to do it, and they didn't. And if it wasn't for cowardice from Pogba, we should have technically had 3 points in the bag. But we don't. We're third, but fucking hell, Sunday's going to be a madness, innit?